Mmusi Maimane is expected to spearhead his party's campaign in Potchefstroom today. Now, this amidst mounting concerns over declining service delivery in the area. Now, the spotlight is on Maimane as he's expected to unveil the party's premier candidate for the Northwest, with Potchefstroom reportedly experiencing setbacks attributed to the merger of the former Tlokwe and Ventersdorp local municipalities into the JB Marks Local Municipality. Now, questions arise about the impact of this consolidation on the community. Reporter Zebilon Maine is watching the story for us. So, Zebilon, can you shed some insights as well as give us a bit of context surrounding Maimane's visit and the expectations for the premier candidate?
Yes, indeed. Mmusi Maimane is here in Ikageng near Potchefstroom, where he's going to campaign for his party. As you know, that we are only left with 10 days before the election. But he's here on the site where we understand that a number of children died because of this big hole here. So he's here to check the condition of this hole, as I indicated earlier on, to say that a number of children have passed on playing here. But let me bring him into our conversation here. Mmusi Maimane, thanks very much for joining us here on SABC. Before you can go and talk to your supporters there, what prompted you to visit the site?
Well, I think the major reason we have an election is because we have a government that is failing people, and government failure leads to people dying. So at the risk of politicizing issues, the reality of it is that unless we get a new administration here in the Northwest, particularly in this municipality, how many more children must die? And so I wanted to come here especially, firstly to meet the family, which we will do, and furthermore, to add legal muscle to this particular case, because it's clear that more children are going to die in this hole, and I'm not convinced that the government is putting in enough effort to prevent that from happening. Government failure is the killing of young people and children.
So it means that this is part of lack of services. And now you are here in Ikageng. Number of communities are crying for lack of issue of services. They lack housing. As you can see behind you, there are shacks, water and electricity. Like I'm saying, these shacks here, they don't have electricity. And these residents are saying they've been staying here for more than 5 years. As BOSA, what are you promising these residents?
I mean, this is where, at its core, is the purpose behind the 29th of May, is that this is a government that has long forgotten about citizens. So I've come here today, particularly here in this province, making one clear thing. The first solution here is that we've got to put a job in every home. That's the first thing. Because when people are economically empowered, they're able to take control of their own lives. You see, when you are not working and there's no income in the home, you are doomed to a life of poverty upon which you have no choice to exercise. So we have to do that. And secondly, of course, our policy around housing is to say to themselves, rather than putting these extensive housing lists that governments put on the table, we've got to ensure that we give vouchers so that people can be able to exercise choice. They can be able to build their own structures, stimulate the township economy, because South Africans are very committed to that. And then thirdly, and more crucially, we recognize the fact that spatial planning has been something that's been poor because we've got a government of people who are corrupt. So we need to be able to plan for more cities here so that citizens are able to find accommodation, they're able to find housing and economic opportunities. So to me, the promise here is of a Northwest that is prosperous. It's of a Northwest where more and more citizens can participate in the economy. And that's why we're here. It's not going to happen when you keep the government that is already letting our children die, letting poverty run rampant, continue. It's time for change. And today, as BOSA, we are here to make a bold claim to say we are going to, here in the Northwest, make a significant difference.
Unemployment rate is high in the Northwest, and it's a concern, particularly to the youth. As BOSA, what are you saying about it?
Yeah, the fix for jobs is twofold. The first is making sure that we keep the lights on. I know load shedding is on holiday before the elections. It will return after that. And furthermore, we have to make sure that logistics, goods are able to move in and out. And thirdly, keep young people educated, because young people, if they are not educated, of the 90% of the people who are unemployed, of which majority are young people, they don't have a matric. we have to make sure that young people are educated to get through. Then thirdly, let's keep our communities safe. So as BOSA, we've proposed a 220 billion rands to stimulate the township economy. And I want to say to all young people in this country, when BOSA comes in, we're going to give you a national civilian year, 1 year where young people are able to spend 6 months internship and 6 months working. Because when you combine those two things, they walk away there with experience and they can apply their trade elsewhere.
We are in an era of elections now, and some of the residents who are overseas, they've started voting yesterday. Are you happy about the process thus far?
Yeah, internationally, that's been great to see the various embassies who have been open for voting. Of course, naturally, citizens have to spend a lot of money getting to embassies, and I want to encourage them to do so. And I'm grateful for the fact that already what we are starting to see is an increase of turnout. Historically, overseas voting has been lower. We're starting to see an increase, which tells me that even on the 29th, we will see high turnout. And so South Africans need to recognize that they need to turn out in their numbers, vote for change, because the only way we bring change is not by burning tires, it's not by protesting, it is democratic. As Papa and Dada Nelson Mandela reminded us so accurately, if vote out this government if it does to you what apartheid did, and therefore we must be able to do that on the 29th.
Thank you very much. That is the president of BOSA, Mmusi Maimane, explaining to us that what is it that he's promising the residents of the Northwest. And he also touched on the issue of residents who are abroad voting since yesterday till today. From now here, he's going to meet with community members in Sarafina Hall, where he's going to address his party members.